Hello, I'm Jigar, a cloud support engineer here at the AWS office in Dublin. Today I'm going to show you how to configure an Amazon API Gateway REST API to integrate with Amazon Simple Queue service so that you can resolve some common errors. Let's get started. After logging into the AWS Management Console, navigate to the Amazon SQS console. Let's create a standard SQS queue with the default configuration. Enter a name for your SQS queue and then choose Create Queue. Copy the Amazon resource name or ARN of the queue, then save it in your notepad. We need an AWS Identity and Access Management role for API Gateway to allow API Gateway to publish messages to the SQS queue. So let's first navigate to the IAM console. Create a new role for the API Gateway and then enter a name for it. Edit the IAM role that you just created to add an inline policy for the SQS send message action and then enter a name for the policy. Add the SQS ARN that you saved to your notepad and then save the policy. Navigate to the API Gateway console and then create the REST API. Create a post method and then select AWS service as the integration. Select the appropriate region, service as SQS, and HTTP method as post. For action type, choose Use Path Override. For path override, enter your account ID and SQS queue name in the following format. For the execution role, enter the ARN of the IAM role, then create the method. Edit integration request, add content type under URL request headers parameters with this value. Be sure that you open and close the value with single apostrophes. Add a new mapping template with the content type application/JSON and template body as you see here. Now deploy the API to a stage. Copy the invoked URL and then use the following curl command to make a post request to the API. When your integration is successful, your response looks similar to the following. Next, we will troubleshoot some common errors that can occur when you integrate an SQS queue with API Gateway. First, let's look at the unknown operation exception error. An unknown operation exception error occurs when you don't configure the content type as application/xww form URL encoded in the integration request HTTP header. The unknown operation exception error also occurs when you don't add the send message action to the integration request mapping template. To resolve this error, make sure that content type is correctly formatted and includes the send message action in the mapping template. Next, let's look at the access denied error. The following is an example of an access denied error. An access denied error occurs when the API integration execution role doesn't have the SQS send message permission set to send messages to the SQS queue. To resolve this error, make sure to check if the SQS send message permission is added for the correct SQS queue in the API Gateway IAM role. Next, let's look at the malformed query string error. The malformed query string error occurs when you try to pass special characters such as the and sign or the percentage sign in the request body payload. You must encode the special characters to pass these characters successfully. To resolve this error, add the $util.url encode function in the mapping template to convert the request body from a string to an encoded format. The following is an example mapping template. Now, let's discuss the KMS access denied exception error. Here are the two examples of the KMS access denied exception error. This is the example 1 and this is the example 2. A KMS access denied exception error occurs when the API integration execution role can't perform operations through the AWS Key Management Service. You must configure permissions to perform operations on the AWS KMS keys that are attached to the Amazon SQS server-side encrypted queue. The following example includes the required permissions to perform operations on the KMS keys that are attached to the SQS queue. Note that you must replace example account ID with your account ID and example API gateway integration execution role with your execution role name. And now you know how to configure an API gateway REST API to integrate with Amazon Simple Queue service so that you can resolve some common errors. Thanks for watching and happy cloud computing from all of us here at AWS.